Growing your chiropractic practice is an enriching journey, but it comes with many challenges. Most of these challenges can be really overcome with common sense and diligence and offering mentoring. But there are a set of mistakes most chiropractors are making that can seriously harm their business. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the most common mistakes and how to avoid them so that you can grow your practice quicker and easier. Let's do this. Let's talk about mistake number one that is keeping your practice small. And that is not understanding your practice's operating system. An operating system is a lot like a computer, meaning that you fire up the computer, it runs some processes and commands, and now it's ready to go to work. And it's really waiting for things to happen, that if something happens, there's a sequence of events that are triggered, and that's what we call an operating system. Now, we've all kind of used really good operating systems and probably experienced some really bad ones and how frustrating that they can be. In small practices, they don't even recognize that there is an operating system, and so what happens is that the practice owner becomes the operating system. There's no intention behind it other than we show up, we do the work that's coming at us, and it's a reactive operating system. The reason why this keeps us so small is because everything has to come through you as the practice owner. Every patient decision, every business decision, every fire, it all comes to you. So team members come to you of how do we solve this? What do we do? What do you want us to do? And that means small because you can only process so much. And to be honest with you, it's exhausting. It is what at the end of the day makes you so drained and tired. We love delivering patient care, and a lot of times that actually supercharges us. But that's a lot of energy expenditure on top of all of these reactive decisions that you're making in trying to run your practice. The better way is to actually have an intentional operating system. The intentional operating system called Driven, it's our Driven framework, is a complete practice operating system. And when you have an intentional operating system in place, now the problems don't come to you. We actually have measures in place that handle the problems, that create the flow, that when this happens, then that happens, and it's automatic. And we take you out of the equation to allow your practice to scale beyond you. Now, before we go on to discuss the second thing that's keeping your practice small, I want to give you guys a gift, and this gift is my 5-question framework that will allow you to break down any limiting belief that your patients have and dramatically increase your close rates. Who wants that? Just click and comment below, please, and our team will get you that framework and make sure that you have it to break down your patients' false beliefs and drive your increased conversions. Okay, mistake number 2 has everything to do with your operating system as well, and that is teaching your team strategic thinking by learning how to look upstream. Well, what in the world does this mean? That means that every team member in the practice at any moment of the day is working within a system. At the front desk, handling patients that already are part of your practice, I'm working at the front desk established patient system. Running over to put a patient on muscle stem or decompression, they're working in the production system. So there's different systems within your practice, and your team member is handling process in a variety of systems. The larger your practice grows, the bigger your team scales, we actually narrow that scope. We want cross-training, but we really want to build experts who know how to master a system. They become the driver of the system. So in this concept, I want you to think of whatever system that they're operating in. If they encounter a problem, they can think upstream. That means, here's the problem. What process is before that problem? What system is above that problem? And as I start working backwards from that issue, I can begin to identify the process or the system breakdown that we as a team need to think strategically around on how to fix it. Because practices operate very differently at different levels. A $25,000 a month practice is very different than a $50,000 a month practice, which is very different than a $75,000 a month practice. And your process needs to improve. And as your team become experts and drivers, as they're thinking upstream, oh my goodness, this operating system just takes over and begins to carry momentum with it to drive you to record months. This is how our data-driven practices are growing and scaling so fast. All right, before I give to you mistake number 3, make sure you've hit that like button, adjust those notifications so you don't miss a single great episode. If you're new to our community, hey, we are not a selfish community. We are all about sharing here. I am dropping gold for you every single episode. Make sure you're sharing this with your community so that we all can become data-driven docs and elevate our profession's reach so we can change more patients' lives. All right, let's get back to mistake number 3. Okay, the third mistake that I see practice owners making is not having a team scoreboard. Think of this. When was the last time that you were playing a game and you lost score? Whether this was a game of basketball or this was checkers. If we lose the score, where's the competition? Where's the excitement? Like, what's the purpose of this game? Well, it's to win. And in practice, we are here to win. Now, it looks a little bit different in practice because, where is the finish line? It's something that we create. We start setting a horizon that we're moving towards. And when we cross that line, when we achieve that, we celebrate. Having a team scoreboard allows us to see if we're winning or losing. Are we on track for the month or are we behind? Do we need to change behavior? Do we need to get intentional about a very specific system in the practice that's underperforming? When the team becomes aware, then they can engage in the game. No awareness, no engagement. They're just there to process the work. And I don't want you to have team members that are just there. I want them intentional, I want them excited, and I want them pushing the work forward. And that's what a team scoreboard does. Which leads us to the fourth mistake I see most practices making, which is there's no cadence of accountability. A cadence of accountability means there's a daily huddle and there's a weekly team meeting. These two meetings are the rhythm of data connected to the responsible team member for that data. It is amazing when your practice transforms from team just showing up to process the work that shows up to intentional team members that are coming to team meeting and they have stewardship. Do you understand the power of stewardship? You've taken it. In fact, you've taken an oath in our chiropractic world or holistic health world of taking stewardship of patients' health. I know how serious you take that. I know how passionate you are about showing up for your patients and changing their lives, removing the obstacles that are keeping them back from the dream life they've always had. So that stewardship, why do you take it so seriously? It's because you've trained, you understand the process of being healthy. Well, that's the same for your team. They need to take on the stewardship of, hey, I own this. I'm not gonna take every problem to doc. I'm gonna train and master the system, and I'm gonna figure out how to solve my own problems. And we can do that through data-driven decisions, and really understanding the product of that system and how do I improve that product so that when I show up to team meeting, I am there to meet with my team. And there's no shame in an underperforming metric. There's only shame in giving up. So we want team members that are there to say, hey, here's where we're at. Hey guys, how can we fix this? How can I improve? It's that constant drive, that passion that you have for your craft. Why should we not expect any less from our team? Which means we've got to create the culture, the environment of a data-driven team who are stewards, who are responsible, and we build this cadence, this beating of a drum that will allow them to show up, be prepared, and ready to take full ownership of how that system is performing. And as a team, as we support and help each other, that's the bonding. Think about any great professional team that has won. their championship, whether that's in the NBA, the NFL, or the Olympics. Like, their team is so bonded, like they're hugging, they're crying, they're just going wild. And that's what we want to build. That's the kind of culture we want to build. And by removing these 4 stakes, that's the kind of practice you could have, Doc. If you need a little help with this, we're here. And it's a free Facebook group called The Data-Driven Practice. Click the link below, come join us, and we will help you remove these mistakes so that you and your team can become #1 in holistic healthcare in your community.